name of the game is to find what fits you best. What level fits you best? Is it Division I, Division II, Division III, in a IA school, junior college, prep school? What does that look like for you? Now let's just be honest. Everyone is not a Division I player. I wasn't a Division I player. I started off at a junior college and graduated from a Division II school. Everyone's not a Division I player, and that's fine. But you have to be honest with yourself. But some of you just may not be Division I basketball ready. You may not be Division I athlete. And today I'm going to give you 4 things that's going to prove that you may not be a Division I athlete.
Hoop Laude.
Yes, indeed, Big Brother Bel here to give you all that you want and what you need. And before I get into my 4 things that'll prove that you're not a Division I athlete, let me go ahead and invite you to check us out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I put out information helping student athletes both in and out of their sport. I know it's called Hoop Laude, and I know you're thinking like, oh, if I'm not basketball, this doesn't apply to me. I use basketball because I was fortunate enough to be able to use basketball as a vehicle to get through high school and through college. Now you're looking at a person that failed the 6th grade and the 8th grade special education classes. I wasn't going to pass high school, let alone college with a master's. So I utilize basketball, and I want you to be able to utilize whatever sport that you can use and be able to play it in college, whether that's on scholarship or not. But without further ado, my first reason of why you may not be a Division I athlete is you don't pass the eye test. We got to be honest. There's an eye test involved. No matter your sport, it doesn't matter your sport. Well, let's just keep it with basketball for now. The eye test for basketball is height. How tall are you? Do you pass the height requirement for that position? What about the speed, right? What about your size? What about your power? What about your agility? These are things just passing the eye test. Your athleticism. These are things that pass the eye test. Now, as far as height, there's no necessarily requirement, but you know just as well as I do that there is a certain height that'll give you some leverage as far as playing in college. Because when people see height, they see potential. They feel like they can teach everything else. Me, myself, 6'4", 6'5", I played the forward and the center position in high school. That limited me substantially as far as playing in college at a Division I level. It just did. Because when you look around, 6'4", 6'5" at a major Division I, those are point guards. Those are shooting guards. So if you are someone that is short, you're gonna, unless you are phenomenal, Mr. Basketball all 4 years, you balling out of control, highly efficient, yada, yada, yada. No one's going to be looking at you as being a major Division I basketball player or Division I basketball player, period, if you're not the size that normally goes. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely. There's exceptions all the time. And I don't want you to not go for it because I put out this video, but I also want you to be realistic and say, okay, based off my skill set, based off my height, based off this stuff that I'm presenting to you in this video, am I going to be a good fit for that? Number 2, maybe you're not a Division I athlete because you would benefit from a smaller classroom size. Now, when you're talking about Texas, when you're talking about University of North Carolina, when you're talking about UCLA, you got to understand that these classrooms are colossal, okay? These classrooms, you can walk into an auditorium and have 75 students. You can walk in an auditorium and have 100, 150 different students in that class. That's a big difference than going to a smaller school that may not be Division I, where you're one of 25 or one of 15. It's a big difference. Now, are all Division I schools huge in class size? No, but as a general thumb, these are bigger state schools, so they're going to have a lot more students than some of these smaller schools. So if that doesn't match if that doesn't match what you need in the classroom setting, then that may not be the best fit for you. And my third one is this. You may not qualify academically to play for a major Division I school. If you don't know this already, you have to qualify. Through the NCAA, you have to qualify. There's certain test scores you need to have, ACT, SAT. There's certain GPAs you need to have as far as what's going to take for you to play at a major Division I school. You just don't show up and say, I want to hoop at a Division I school. There's qualifications as it relates to academics. And if you don't feel that, and if you're not able to feel that, then you won't be playing major Division I basketball. And my last one, I saved it for last because I know it's going to hurt the most. Maybe you're just not good enough. You're not good enough to be playing major Division I basketball or any other sport. The good news is, Who cares? I know it feels like the end all be all because you've gassed yourself up to believe that it was Division I or nothing. And I was that same person. That one shining moment on March Madness. I know that song backwards and forwards. I can feel the chills over my body right now thinking about that being on that stage, being able to make your family proud on the biggest stage in college basketball. Everybody's watching. Being able to knock off a big team. You're from a small school, but you knock off a big team. Listen, I grew up watching the same thing you're watching right now when it comes to March Madness. But ultimately, I just want to make sure that you understand this. Division II is not failure. Division III is not failure. NAI is not failure. Prep school is not failure. Junior college is not failure. Intramural sports at your particular school is not failure. If you don't know what intramural sports is, that's when teams are organized on your particular campus in college and you play against each other. You don't go from school to school unless you go to like a championship and then maybe they have different intramural teams that play in regions or play for a different play against a different school. But ultimately, none of those things are failures. I'll tell you what is a failure though. What is a failure, or I wouldn't even say a failure, but what I say what's unfortunate is for those individuals that sit on the sideline, that want to play, that are good enough to play, but they'll have regret for the rest of their life because they didn't even try. They didn't try because they were worried about what everybody else is going to think. They didn't try because maybe they thought it was going to be too much of a load and they didn't want basketball to be feeling like a job. Let me tell you something. If basketball is going to be my job, it's the best job I've ever had. That for you to be able to jump in that opportunity while you still have it, because it's a small window to jump in that opportunity and try to make something happen. That opportunity is not going to be there forever. So I encourage you, unless you know without a shadow of a doubt that you don't want to be a part of it, then that's cool. But if there's any inkling that you're like, man, I may still want to hoop, then go do it. Because that you're not always going to have that time. So again, figure out what's the best fit for you. What's the best fit for you? And it may not be Division I. It may be Division I. And that's fine too. I'm not trying to hate on Division I. I wasn't a Division I player. But I'm not trying to hate on those that are fortunate enough to be a part of that. And they have the skill set and the talent and all that stuff to be a part of that. That's awesome for them. But don't let that be, don't let that narrate your story if that's not for you. Would you rather be on a Division I team just to say that you're a Division I, but you don't get a lick of doggone playing time? You sit so far on the doggone bench that they put you in the crowd? Or would you rather be at a different school, maybe a Division II school, and play a lot of minutes, enjoy your time, and really be a good fit? Or Division III school and be a good fit? Or intramural basketball, so you can play intramurals at Division I school, Division II school. So think about that more than anything else. It has to be a good fit. So, as always, whether it's on the court or off, in the classroom or out, graduate at the top of your class. Hoop Laude.